welcome to Replay Game, the tabletop role-playing game podcast where we look at tabletop role-playing games from every side of the table. This is Jess, and I played The Stand. That was several characters.
This is Emma. I played Atticus Antel.
I'm Anish. I played the worst judge in the history of law.
Which was just fine with me, Ridley, playing Willie Snap, whose client, Turley Shemple, was not found guilty.
Yes. When you go into, like, this type of movie or this type of media, you want the defendant to be innocent. Like, you kind of want it to turn out the defendant is innocent. So yeah. I'm glad that it ended up that way. I think that was the hope.
The unsatisfying part is we didn't really ever decide who did break the jars.
I kind of like that.
If I was watching that movie, I'd be pissed off. I'd be like,
This is the third of 3 parts that we do for our series. It's the game discussion. We like to talk about the game that we just played after we play the game, and we have just played Justicar by Nevin Holmes. So we just did our whole trial. We were kind of we were the prosecution and the defense and all the witnesses and such, and the judge. This one is, I mean, it's role play first. It's entirely just an improv
very fun
exercise.
role play.
So fun.
I think the heaviest improv we've probably had to do, and I think that is tough when you're not immediately as familiar with. I think that we should have like I should have read it a little bit more beforehand. Just became a little more familiar with it. But then also there's only so much prep you can do, because you do also have to keep track of all the ties that you've made in the moment.
I loved the board. I thought that was a really cool way of doing it. It helped me. I like every time we had a new witness, or when we were calling witnesses, I was looking at what's the evidence that I have and how could it potentially tie in. Like the note to the origami. That was just like, how the hell are we going to get this origami guy in here? And then it was like, let's use the folded paper.
That was really fun, and I really liked that. Another thought I have about this game is that I do think this would be a lot more fun in person.
Holy shit, yes.
I think that this, like, especially when you're putting up all the little notes and stuff, and then I think if you can position yourself around the room like a courtroom, and then like you can do the walk of the character or something, make sure, and I would recommend that you have like a lot of props or costumes for your witnesses.
Yes.
I think that's a fun aspect that you can throw in there.
Fun.
That was such a good touch. I loved that. That was so funny to watch the switch between characters. Yes.
So funny. So funny. I'm so glad we have a podcast medium.
We could do a clip where we like compile all the different characters or something into like a...
That'd be fantastic. Does anybody have burning questions?
Yeah, the burning questions. So the burning questions that we established in the game, we now kind of address whether we think we covered those.
I don't think we really did. I had who is the runner-up in the Jamboree. I don't think we figured out who does that.
Mine was, what is Mama Laid hiding?
And that one kind of got answered.
She has an unliked marketing gun.
I think that we speed ran this, and that made the game suffer. Like, I think calling surprise witnesses every time, getting to use all the pieces of evidence, because I feel like I really wanted it to come out that Gil Tyman was guilty. Like, I wanted there to be a breakdown and for it to be very clear, and I think that we weren't going to get there without, like, a couple more stations, you know? Like,
in my headcanon, he was. I feel like I personally had connected the dots. What I struggled with was how to get those thoughts across in a way that wasn't speculation, hearsay, or leading.
And that's usually in the movies, you get into that. You know, like, that's literally the you can't handle the truth sequence is the, like, that's why they have the option to ignore that objection and press the issue so that you can have those moments, but you do have to, like, save them. So, like, throughout it, you have to not be doing that, and that is hard.
My burning question, too, just because you had asked, is who benefited if Turley Shemple was convicted, and I had tried to make a loose connection that Jacques Strap would be benefited because then Jacques would get to spend more time with Gil.
Yeah.
But other than that, I could see maybe like LOL getting to take over the other responsibilities from Turley. But what were you going to say, Jess? Because I have another kind of just like.
I guess I can say my burning question as well, which was, does Jockstrap have a stake in the marmalade sales? Or not marmalade. I keep saying marmalade because of her name.
The
The
jelly.
jam. And I think I kind of forced an answer to that in the end with the whole like in cahoots kind of thing with Gil. I don't know. I think I thought because of like the whole work from home thing and the whole like his whole deal that there would be some kind of potentially I think I had that in mind from the beginning.
And that's kind of hard because it's hard to have anything in mind from the beginning.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, and they say that in the rule book.
Yeah.
And I think I
Yeah.
struggled sort of as the stand with that because I wanted there to be some consistent narrative, but it was also kind of hard to figure out what that was on the spot and like have witnesses that aren't all like the same, like that
Yeah.
don't all know the same amount of information.
I think you did a good job with that.
You did a great job.
Like, distinct characters that had their own opinions and knowledge.
Okay.
And I will say, I do like that the game has you establish the tone because we wanted to do something kind of fast paced and goofy, and that's what we did.
Oh,
you know,
for
we
sure.
didn't want to do something that was like super logistical and each point was counterpointed. We wanted to do something kind of fun, and that is exactly what we did. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that they had us do that.
Yeah, and this is probably the 12:40 a.m. delirium.
It's 2
Speaking,
a.m.
but
in
like
the warehouse.
somewhere. I think like I have a thing about mystery games that I learned from Fedora Noir, where like I get so invested in the answer that I actually lose the fun. So my goal this time was to say fuck the answer. Even though the game is like explicitly about like finding the truth, I don't think my attitude necessarily helped or guided anybody.
I really liked your
towards the-
judge.
I think your judge was really fun.
Here's the hard thing about creating a judge that is bumbling and like completely incompetent is that my move, which is that somebody plays against my style. Like if somebody's a good lawyer, I can call them out. You know?
Yeah.
It's weird. It was a weird gray area. First of all, the judge, very fun, very fun. A lot of responsibility I felt, despite the fact that I very much abandoned that very quickly. Like the moves for I'm warning you, if somebody goes against your style, like let's say your style of the law says that the law is perfect, right? That's their example.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lawyer says, screw the law. It's written like junk. Like, obviously, you can be like, no, don't do that. So if your judge is kind of like a lax, chill guy, if you're being uptight
Yeah.
and like a rule follower, you can have that to play with. And I think that's just a fun tool to use. However, when I see a set of fun tools in front of me, it is my deepest desire to use every single one of them as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I got lost in the sauce there.
Well,
Lost in the sauce.
I think that was both of us getting lost because I just wanted one of us to use something up my sleeve before the end of the game, and we didn't get to use it. So that was the only thing. I think that the way that rule works, I think I would like to have a like, I'm warning you one more time, or I'm going to hold you in contempt of court.
Yeah.
Like oh, that's what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do think I would have made a different decision there had I known.
Yeah.
But then you're drunk and bumbling, so it's hard to
It worked, yeah.
to do that. Yeah.
Ritha, you have a thought?
Yes, I do. Anish, tell us the 3 tilts. I can guess 2
Yes.
of them, but
I was so somebody send in conservative parentheses Republican. Somebody else sent homophobic. I didn't end up going with homophobic because I felt that Republican could handle that pretty well. Then there was a suggestion of 3 men in a suit, which
Like goblins.
Wait, that was actually it? Oh my god.
yes. So my narrative was that every time the judge got drunk drinking the vodka in his water bottle, he would switch out with somebody else
That's why you
underneath the
kept
cloak.
leaving.
Really good. I was
Yeah.
really enjoying that. When you were like, he walks off center, I was like, hee hee hee.
Wait.
Yeah.
So was it?
He's
Did you have
3
like different
guys.
personalities for each guy or something, or?
Like slightly, but they were changing races, so like I felt
That's
like
yeah.
I
It's
felt
like,
like
he
that
was
was
wa-
enough of
That's I was like, does he have hair now?
I honestly didn't even figure that out.
That
I
was
didn't
good.
either. That's so I said the one with vodka in the water bottle, and I felt a little I felt a little bad because
that set me down a dark path. I'll tell you what.
it really exacerbated the bumbling. So I was like, dang, maybe this was like counterintuitive to
And
what the
here's
judge
the
is supposed to
thing:
do.
that was a conscious choice. I can choose not to do that.
Yeah, you could have vodka in the water bottle and never touch it.
Exactly.
Put the killing thing between your lips, but don't let it do it or whatever.
It was delightful to like know one of them and to be able to tell when you were bringing it in. Like I
Yes.
remember when you pulled up an objection or something to, or an
It
aside
was
Sidebar.
somebody. Yeah.
when someone was like first touching on the like the gay thing, and I was like, oh, here it comes.
That's so funny. It was funny because I was like, oh no, you were only supposed to pick one of mine because I did homophobic and 3 people in a judge suit. Yeah, that was very fun.
It was quite good.
I think we chose to play a fast-paced version of the game, which hurt it a little. And then also I struggled with because it says you get 3 questions per witness.
I think it's 3 lines of questioning.
That was where I got a little nebulous, you know what I mean? Because like to your point, like being on the spot, I didn't have 3 things written down with different avenues. You know, I kind of had a vague, well, maybe this could happen, and then how many questions can I throw to try to get there? You know,
and I think something that maybe could have helped with that, our palette. Looking back at the rule set, I think the palette is less about the mystery itself and more about the style you want to emulate. So, like, if we had gone hardcore Ace Attorney just as our North Star, like, we could play it out with Ace Attorney rules like video games. A line of questioning relates to
this piece of evidence.
This
That's
piece of
kind of how I
evidence.
was trying to.
Yeah, and
play
I
it.
saw that. But, like, it's hard when you don't have that and you're kind of free flowing. I think this game is super fun, but it does ask a lot from the people playing it.
Yeah.
or this game would be perfect for a group that really loves the yes and of improv. If your brain can
Yes.
have a line of questioning ready, but then if your opponent, your witness says something entirely different, you're able to kickflip that and still
Yeah.
loop it in, which I wasn't necessarily the most,
Yeah.
kind of acrobatic on my feet with, but folks who do feel comfortable in that kind of position, I think would love this game.
It is a fun, like, I really enjoyed Jess when you answered my questions wrong. When
It's so funny.
when it was like,
So
oh,
Mama
I'm
Way.
clearly trying to like lead you one way with just like the way the mystery is, and then Mama Lady like, yep, that's my Glock, and I'm like, shit, okay. Like that's so fun to play with. Of like,
so
okay, well
funny.
then how is this used in the threat? Like,
That
how
was
would this be important?
That was definitely the character I felt most comfortable in. Like, I think that maybe I didn't
The mom?
create, yeah, or
The
what-
grandma.
The grandma.
Yeah. I think
Mama
that I
Lady.
just didn't feel like as I didn't like mentally pick enough of a direction for the other characters sometimes. Maybe if I had to rank the characters on how well I think that I kind of felt in tune with them, I would put her at the top. I would then maybe put LOL, and then maybe I did not know what to do with fucking with Gil at the end there. He was all over the place, and I apologize.
It's
I
great. He's
I
Wait,
think-
cracking
hold
up
on.
in
Where's
impression.
Jock?
Yeah, where's Jacques?
I don't even remember. He was the first one, so I have
You
no
were pretty
idea.
good at Jacques.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh yeah,
You're
that one
pretty-
was yeah.
I feel like this could, if I were to switch up anything mechanics wise, I would just change the terminology around key and I would make it secret.
Yeah.
And then every
Ooh.
witness
Has a
is
secret
trying
to
to
reveal.
hide that secret. And then, because it's hard to do it's you're arguing, but you want to just tell the story. And I think it's more fun when it's like, we're trying to figure out the secret of each witness. We're trying to bring the secret to light. Then whether or not it supports the mystery or whether or not it supports our cause is a moot point. We're going to make it work later.
I do think the key could be used though as like a key to the to open the door to the conversation where it's like that's why you would have called this person in the first
Because not
place.
everybody has a secret, but you can extract like a good piece of knowledge from a witness, you know?
Yes, and like I'm thinking of this very much like Ace Attorney.
Ace Attorney, yeah.
They all have a secret.
They all
I think
Like
it
that's
could-
kind of the
I-
fun. They all break down and have a secret, and it's like,
I
ooh,
think
you
it
get
could be
the juicy payoff.
I think it could be split into two different things, which I guess you don't need to add like that. I mean, maybe it wouldn't be helpful to add that many things to people, but like I think that they should have like a key or rather a connection to the crime or something, and then also a secret that you can like potentially hone in on, because I think that like having that be both is kind of complicated. And we also didn't like lean into the whether it was secret or not secret part. We didn't really specify that before.
Maybe we needed to specify
I
that
think
up
we should have
top.
more clearly, because some of the stuff was like, you know, this guy's a judge at the thing. Like that's pretty obviously not going to be a secret. But then the whole affair stuff like that, you know.
I will say this is a game that is, to me, going to be a potential rotation game. Like the only other game like this that I've played in real life is Executive Decision.
Yeah.
Like I've pulled Executive Decision off the shelf and played it. I think especially with what we have learned by playing this once, I would for sure play it again with Sam and Amelia.
That would be a great.
I'm like, I think Sam and Amelia would love this
awesome.
game. Yeah.
And I think that this would be I would love to play this game and kind of give it the time that it deserves, because I did feel like if we had started maybe like an hour or two earlier just for this, I feel like the time pressure would have been felt a little less, and especially with like the setup being so. I feel like we got so into the setup that when we were actually playing, we were kind of already a little bit tired, and so it kind of though I thought everybody did a great job. I really was impressed with everybody's ability to keep up with the characters and the momentum.
Here's the thing, I didn't have to worry about that.
And yeah,
I was sleeping.
I felt it was like a little set up like Jeopardy, where it was like we spent so long coming up with these like answers, and then the playing of the game was like trying to connect the answers or like reveal the answers by coming up with what questions would produce the answers we already have. And and I like that for the articles, the evidence, the exhibits, they have us, you know, include some kind of loophole so that you can decide that in the moment. But it did feel like the kind of improving I like, or like creativity coming up, brainstorming stuff, happened more in the read versus the play, because it's set up like a court, because there is a certain procedure to it. It felt a little bit harder for me to put the blocks together. It was like involving more critical thinking than I think I was like.
And I'd be curious, not to interrupt, sorry, but
all yours.
I'd be
Honorable
curious
judge.
to see how you'd feel if you were the stand, right? Because it's a different
then you just
it's a
get to
different
kinda,
role. You just get to react. Even though you have a responsibility to like, oh, you're the person that could really make or break these connections, right? Like, either you hear what somebody's trying to insinuate without leading them, which is another thing I have to talk about. But it's just a little different because you're the person that helps make the mystery make sense.
And I think I forgot that sometimes when I was doing it because
It's fun.
I was like I forget that it kind of is up to me to decide what the truth is there, because like, or at least what's being said, because I was like, oh yeah, well they all seem to have a narrative in mind, and I don't want to discourage that. And I feel like I was thinking that, like, I think that I felt in me that there was some fifth entity there that had the like full correct answer, and that I had to stay true to that. But like it really is, and that is why I do think that that Mama Lade ended up being the best character, because I feel like she was the most truthful to the character.
Yeah.
And the other thing about the procedure setup is like we were really excited for the dynamic between Willie Snap and Anarchus and Tell,
Yeah.
but they didn't really interact a ton except for the recess. So
Yeah.
if you're excited about the Ace Attorney Yowie of it all, it feels like this format
you gotta
is
build
maybe
more
not.
time in
You
for
have
it.
to.
Yeah.
You have to. And I think that's a thing you can 100% do. It's just, I think that could be done with very intentional kind of planning.
I also think like that's part of again, I think pacing, because I'm just thinking of when you play Ace Attorney, every time there's an objection, there's an interaction between the lawyers arguing about, is that
Yeah,
objection
that's so
real?
fun.
You know, like, well, actually, I wasn't leading the witness because I was doing this. And then, like, they have an interaction, and then the judge makes the decision.
It felt so good to see that ball passed around between y'all. It was like really, like, it felt authentic, and the flow was really nice in the way that one of y'all would object and then the other would like kind of talk a little bit. Like it was like interrupting, and then the judge would come in. I don't know. It felt authentic in a really fun way.
I would be interested. I don't know what the physical version of this game is like, but if they had like, both defendant and prosecutor get cards, and one's, objection under speculation, objection under hearsay, like that maybe would have been helpful to me to have the visual. And we had our map, but there was just like a lot of different information.
There's a lot.
And Emma, you're really fantastic at kind of like letting all the different rules and options settle in, and like trying to use those. Like you use the up your sleeve. I don't think I was even aware of that because I was focusing so hard on trying to connect the dots that I wasn't as focused on what's the different mechanics I can use, because I was like, I don't even know what to do with those when I have them.
In a game where your prosecutor defense is asking the witness questions, but also the players desperately like on their knees begging, like, help me. What, this is a mystery that I am putting forth. Maybe this is a direction we can take it. Anytime you try to steer something in terms of like it sounds like speculation, it sounds like hearsay.
Well,
so it's tough.
Let's look at that too real quick, because I feel like leading the witness when it's in crime stuff is when you're like, didn't that hurt your feelings? Or like you say, like, didn't that make you feel bad? I don't know.
Yeah. And I think this game is going to 1,000,000,000% benefit the people who are wicked into law shows. Because then, like, I got 10 hours of an audiobook in my system, and like I got like enough to realize like, oh, that is hearsay. Like after a certain point. But it's tough. It's tough when you have a nebulous idea of it.
And I think that was the end of my sentence, was that you were having to step in and help me and be like, that sounds like hearsay. And I'd be like, oh shit, you're right. Like that is a thing I can do. So I think I probably would have been
like
able
just
to
having
like
them right in front of
maneuver
you.
through this game a little bit more if I had some kind of that physical representation. So I think we made the most with what we had over Zoom. I think our goal was to have fun, and we definitely did.
We did have fun.
I had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
But for me, this game was very similar with Fedora Noir, where I did find my kind of left brain trying to kick in and like problem solve rather than like I don't know, role play or something. And maybe if I gave it like a second chance, I would feel a little less like I have to focus on the rules and just kind of enjoy the experience of the game. But, and this is not a knock on the game, it's just how my brain works as somebody who's like not super like left brainy. It was a little harder to get into the actual like play of it, because I kept getting snagged on the logic of it rather than just like the you know, creativity or something.
Yeah, that makes me think, because this is a type of game that I like a lot, and I want to make this type of game more accessible to people. Like, I feel like maybe having questions about the case where then each witness you're trying to answer a specific question. You know, like, we're trying to establish the motive. We're trying to establish this, and then you can use witnesses to do that. I don't know.
I would have liked the kind of thing we did for Mouse Guard, where you have X amount of time, just like, you know, the players congregate, the, you know, game master congregates. Like, this almost felt to me like writing an essay where I needed to kind of take a second. And I just kept being like, thank God I get to go after the prosecutor.
I so felt that for the opening and closing statements. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, I don't have any time to put this together. Which I guess is true in court.
You did like a really stellar job.
I was impressed. I thought both of y'all did great on that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. I think my job also was easier because my job was literally create like confusion so where it's not clear that Turley Shemple did it, rather than like Emma, you maybe had the harder job of proving, yes, well, you did this weird other thing, you know, witness, but here's how it actually points back to Turley Shemple, you know. So, and we had all these connections and stuff. So I just was really thankful that you took that leap and went first every time. Like, it definitely made it easier for me to see you.
Oh, don't worry.
To see it
don't
in
worry
your
about it, baby.
capable hands. Yeah. Don't worry, kitten. Okay. Yay. Closing arguments. Closing
arguments on Justicar.
I
think Ridley was saying closing arguments on the game, right? Oh, sorry. That's what you were doing. I thought you were about to talk about the closing arguments. My bad.
Me equals, that was me doing, let's do our final thoughts, just because I know Sweet E has work tomorrow. Unless somebody has a specific thought on closing arguments.
No. God, no. I was just going to give my concluding thoughts.
Yeah, sorry.
My concluding thought equals, I fell in love with the characters we made. I had a great time with them. I think the game facilitated, like, you know, really establish these characters first, and that's where I had the most fun trying to decide or even like shed light on the outcome. I struggled with, and for me, just the way my brain works, it's not necessarily what I'm looking for in a role-playing game, but they gave us that kind of like building ground for other enjoyable aspects of role-playing.
The most fun for sure was just character interactions, like not knowing what the person across from you is going to say next. 1000% hilarious. And I think Phoenix Wright games like evoke a sense of that kind of like absolute like joy upon seeing the craziest character designs and like looking forward to them breaking down. So I think the characters, like the witnesses and the prosecutor, the defendant, the judge, all like stellar opportunity to have fun with friends. With the Fedora Noir, in our interview, I came out looking at the game like, okay, I understand the mystery is second to the interactions, which makes the game make way more sense to me. I'm super curious to understand what a game designer would say about this game, because it seems like the point is the mystery. And like, I think it's very fitting that the whole visual tracking system is a board with sticky notes, because it feels pretty like nebulous. You're making something from nothing, with all sorts of like scattered connections. And if you are good at keeping track of those, like, definitely play this game. And if you're not, still play this game, but give it a try. You know?
Yeah, I think other tools that could be helpful with that is a way of tracking what evidence has been used and how. Like, I think having the board in front of you physically, you'd be able to do more connections with that. Like, that might be helpful. Like, I kind of wanted to place our sticky notes by the characters that they were implicated with, like who's connected to what, which we probably should have been doing. But again, we kind of streamlined it. So yeah, I want to play this again and flesh out those things.
Yes.
Jess, I am curious because you said this is the first game you recognized all of the references. Did that help you? Like, did you feel like, did that make it any difference for how it was when we actually like got into it?
I think, definitely, I think just the familiarity with it. I think the most important, honestly, felt like Ace Attorney. It just felt like this was really trying to pull that Ace Attorney card. And I guess in the sense that, like, all of the things that they cited were comedies. They were goofy things. They were like, Better Call Saul is
Better
like
Call Saul,
debatable,
yeah.
but like Better Call Saul, this isn't like Better Call Saul is technically a touchstone they had listed. That does not really feel like what the gameplay is about for this, because like Better Call Saul is rarely in court, and when it is, it's like Saul doing some bullshit. So it's, I guess there is bullshit
There's
here.
a lot of bullshit, yeah.
It's just like brief moments, and it's not like drawn out like this, except for the honestly, now that I think about it, the scene with Chuck, who's seen Better Call Saul?
I've seen a Phoenix Wright edit of the scene you're talking about.
There's like a famous scene from Better Call Saul with Chuck, and that is definitely a scene straight out of this. But that is built too for like 3 seasons or something. Anyway, yes, I think it was helpful to like it felt it helped the full immersion, and it's kind of, an easy place to pull the witnesses from. I think that was why. The Ace Attorney witnesses are so zany. And so I think you just have to focus on, and you have to play that up. You just have to play up what's crazy about them. There's like one crazy thing about them. Sometimes it's an old lady who talks a lot, and that's what her thing is. That's Wendy Oldbag. Sometimes it's...
And she's attracted to Miles Edgeworth.
Honestly, we had all the traits here of these kinds of characters, because I think, Emma, you wrote like a Larry Butts type character in... which I ended up putting on LOL's... LOL's card, but that didn't end up even coming into play that much because there weren't a lot of old people to flirt with. Anyway, it was a fun time. It was a fun time is all I have to say.
I have a quick question. If and when we're gonna play this again, which role would you want to try out? If you had to pick another.
Podcast listener.
I'd want to try the witnesses.
The judge would be fun.
Probably, right? Because the witnesses are generating ideas and like parts of the story without having to connect them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's, I think, what I struggled with is everyone else is having to try to like connect them, and then the judge is having to say whether it's appropriate for you to be connecting them. Like, me as the defense really struggled with trying to add ideas in the way that a lawyer would be adding it. That's not just like blurting stuff out,
I meant to say this earlier, but this reminds me of a game that it's like a Discord or like a Steam game called Guilty as Sock, which I think I've mentioned to you guys briefly before, but it's like a little VR sort of regular game where you like are sock puppets in a court, and you just kind of role play with your friends, but they give you these like prompts and stuff. And I think that would be a fun one for us to play hypothetically, because you get to play all these roles too. And that was how this one felt.
I think I would want to play as one of the lawyers again, though.
It seems fun.
Low-key want to be a lawyer.
I think it's fun to just start stating stuff about the evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like,
I love
You
going
get control over those pieces of evidence.
Something I love about Phoenix Wright as the character, he goes out on a limb sometimes
You
and
don't
he
know
falls
shit.
flat on his fucking
Literally.
face. Love that.
Yeah.
Folks, that's going to do it for us, I think. I think that we've had a lovely...
Folks with a K?
Folks, yeah, this time with a K, because I'm respecting that the judge doesn't want to be woke about it.
Thank you.
Wolks with an X. Thank you so much for joining us. If you want to listen to more of our stuff that you haven't already listened to, or that you have already listened to, go to linktr.ee/replay game. That is, you have an objection?
No, I was just holding it up.
Okay, that's our link tree where you can find links to different places to listen to the podcast, all of our social media, including Instagram, where you should check out all of our clips, where we'll hopefully be posting some fun stuff from this of like different witnesses and stuff like that. We'll see what the clips end up looking like, and you will see them, and you will also go to our Patreon and subscribe where you can get some lovely bonus episodes. We just did one. What was the latest one we did? We did a fun game, a stand-up game where we were really bad stand-up comedians, some awful jokes with our friend Sam Bible-Sullivan, who was on the Executive Decision episode.
And by the time that this is out, we'll probably do another in-person two-player game.
That's true. This is coming out July, maybe? Something like that? July or August?
After Pride.
After Pride.
Happy
Makes
Pride,
sense.
guys. We're recording this during Pride. We're recording this on
Yay,
6/7 into
happy
6/8
Pride,
now,
happy
unfortunately. So we'll report to
It
you.
is 1 a.m. This is
It
the
is
latest
1
we've
a.m.
ever recorded.
We'll report
Yeah.
to you tomorrow on 6/9 for something new and fresh. Thank you so much for joining us. I don't think there's anything else. We don't know what game we're gonna play. We don't even roll those anymore.
We're
just
flying
kinda
by the
forget
seat of our
sometimes.
pants, guys.
We'll
It's
figure it
like
out.
we're in a court of law.
We were gonna play a different. Well, I won't say that part.
Kangaroo Court.
Kangaroo
We have
Court.
been corrupted by power, listeners. We do not give a fuck about the original.
We just want to do what we want to do. Stop holding us back.
We're just trying to play games with our friends.
Fuck you, Mom. Put down the glass of wine.
Put down the Tito's.
Where did you get that, Anish?
It's mine.
Okay.
It was filled with water. Be honest. Before you started this,
This is Tito's, baby.
did you taste it on your lips?
No.
What? How? You like poured it and then you
He
put your
uses
lips
his
on
thumb, I think.
It's called a
it?
stage
When you
kiss.
poured it into the water bottle?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
just
drink
poured a
anything
lot,
after that.
and then are you just gonna dump it
You've
out?
just been thirsty. All right. Listeners,
goes.
another mystery.
Bottoms
I do
up,
think
folks.
that the combination of mysteries and alcohol is interesting.
The way that
It's
we've been
probably
doing it?
not helpful to the mystery.
No.
I'll say that.
I
Wait,
think maybe.
There's a kind of a pattern here.
I'll own that. Before we end this episode, I do want to just say my latest favorite, like, Facebook meme that has circulated on Twitter, which is, I want y'all to attach me to a lie detector test and ask me if I give a fuck. I need you to see something.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
And with that, why don't you
Alright.
guys attach us to a podcast detector and give us a 5-star review?
5-star
Thank you so much
review.
on whatever you're listening to. And we will see you
It's 1:11.
in
Make a wish.
in an entirely different courtroom. Not a court. We'll see you
At
on
a
a different side of
table.
the courthouse. Goodbye. I love you, heart emoji. Peace.
And I love you, random citizen.
And I love you, random oomph. Bye.
Hey.
Jesus Christ.